Welcome, one and all. Hey, LTK here. Love Them Knives channel. And we have Midnight Cat Studio, MC Studio. This is made by Max Ace. This is a brand that is made by Max Ace Knives. Okay, this one is called the Sandstorm. This is a big knife. This comes with sculpted handles. This has one handle. It's an integral. Take a look at it carefully. It's a big, heavy hoss. It's a huge knife. This is basically 10 inches long. It's basically 4.5 inches. And there's a lot of basically coming out of my mouth, isn't there? So let's basically take a look. It's, well, let's get the thing up here. Okay. Almost 4.5 inch cutting edge here. 115 millimeters. And to the closest point on the bolster, just under 4.5 inches. Overall, darn near right at 10 inches, and it's 25 centimeters overall length. 250 millimeters, if you please. Now, this 7/10 of an inch here. Okay, 0.71, 18 millimeters, blade stock. Guess what? Let's just get it. Let's get it off the damn thumb studs. Get it on the blade. It's 5 millimeters, 0.19, 0.48 millimeter blade stock. So it's thick blade stock. It's a heavy knife. It's a huge monster. There's your bug out. Get out, bug out. Here's your shaman. Yeah, you thought the shaman was a full-size knife. It is. You think the paramilitary 2 is as well? Yeah. Crushed. 3.8 ounces, about 9.5 on this one. So this is well over double the weight. And you think the Riot Jack is a big knife? It is. It's just about there. Not quite, though. A little smaller. And there we go. Well, we're working on it. Okay, but this is basically 10 inches. Even the Riot Jack, which is a huge integral, is 9.25. So you're about 3/4 inches shy. There's your blade stop on the Riot Jack. Interesting. Of course, they got it pushed in here and kind of covered by the scale a little bit. All right? And I guess you want to call this a liner lock? I don't know. I still consider it a frame lock, but Midnight Cat Studio. Well, there's the stop here. It's the thumb studs. This is an integral from Midnight Cat Studio as well, called the Amber 2. Much lighter, much smaller. Kick it open, let's see. Etc. But this is also a big knife, probably close to 9 inches overall. So still crazy. This is a 10 millimeter opening here for your Torx. The others are 8 millimeter. All right, you have things like a roto lock that turns and turns and turns until about 3.5 turns, then you're done. And then this will stay locked up here at about, that's about 30 to 35% lockup. Here's your hardened steel insert, which of course they put in from the outside because it's an integral. It's a sculpted scale. They make 2 models. A sculpted scale model of the Sandstorm, a non-sculpted scale model of the Sandstorm. Other than the sculpting of the scales, is there a difference? Yes, there are big differences between these 2 knives. In my mind, they're big differences, okay? Now, this blade stop, as you can see, has a screw on both sides, kind of like the PMP Beast and the PMP Grizzly. Apparently Max Ace loves to do that. I don't know why. I'm not big on that. They almost could have moved this back and made the thumb stud as a stop like they did on the Amber 2, or like some of the others have done in the past. But like the Thor knife, and this is something that Reich has done, they've just carved the stop out of the actual titanium handle. Okay, so there's no screws needed. It's just part of the handle, but it's just how they machined it right away. Okay, they did not do that here, so you have that. Now, it comes in a box. And there's your clips here. I guess I could have moved this tripod even higher. And so inside, really nice case. It's got a card. Here you go. Midnight Cat Studio, Sandstorm, M390. Here you go. And they're saying this is 250 grams. That's a lie. Not this model. Maybe the non-sculpted might be. And there's a reason for that. 5mm blade stock and 250 or 25 centimeters overall, yes. And they give you a bunch of extra hardware. There's your another stop pin and the screws that go to it, plus this little funky looking thing, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. And then you've got, of course, where your bearings go. So you got a couple extra bearing rings and screws, and looks like these little donuts probably go to keep from backing the screws out. I don't know, but there you go. Big, huge, crazy mess right here. Now, if you will notice on this knife, there's something going on back here. What is this? What is that? Well, unscrew it. And it unscrews and pulling as I unscrew. And here it comes. So, it goes in, but it doesn't go all the way through. Okay? What's this for? Well, as you noticed up front here, and this isn't the only knife. There was an Extrema ratio knife and some others that have a hole through here where you can put a pin. Now you can do that. It doesn't go all the way through, so you're not seeing it screw in from the other side. But about 1.5 to 2 turns total, and you're there, okay? So you're locked in place. This blade is not going to collapse because you're all the way through. Is that handy? Okay, maybe if you're gonna baton this knife through some heavy timber or whatever, that kind of thing, you're really worried about the lock failing. Okay. At $418, this ain't gonna be the one I'm using to baton through some timber. And regardless, I wouldn't use a folding knife to do that. I would use a fixed blade knife, or they make a hatchet, axe, saw. So no, but okay, that's cool, and it's appeals to the lumberjack in everybody here. But here's the other thing. When you start milling this away, and if you want to look, both models, okay? Non-sculpted and sculpted, okay? One's the MCS01, which is what I got. The MCS02 is the non-sculpted. Okay, there's sculpted, right? Here's non-sculpted. And this is $398 as opposed to $418. So they're around $360 net after your LTK discount code. Therapeutic Edge. A Therapeutic Edge, I talked with him because he has the non-sculpted model. Now this is what the back of the knife looks like on his knife as opposed to mine. Okay, these are sculpted, his is not. This probably means that this is why they were saying 250 grams, because this one is heavier because probably there's a lot more material here. Now, next, you can see that it's kind of blue anode here. Otherwise, everything is per spec, and on the backside, blue anode here, here, and here. But what's going on here? There's no hole. What's going on up here? There's no pin. Correct? Here there's a hole. No hole. Pin. No pin. All right, so this is a different model. Now, what is the difference beyond that that you should note or make note of if you're thinking about buying this? Well, here's what you need to note. Because they did drill out, machine out this hole, what happens when you close the knife? Because here's the situation. If you'll look through here carefully, you will see that's the back of that machined hole. Okay? They have built a detent ramp there, haven't they? Because it's right in the middle of the detent track. So when you go to close this knife, there's your detent ball. When you do that, the first thing that you do is you encounter the detent ball like any other knife does when you're going to close it. So it has to go over that. Then from there, it should drop shut, but it doesn't. It goes halfway. Why? Because it goes into the hole that was drilled for that pin. And now it's hanging up where they did that little ramp at the back side of that hole to drop shut. Okay, so you've got that little ramp right there. As you can see, I don't know if I can, yeah, a little bit more light on it there. So, this means that when you kick it open, and you can kick it open with your thumb, and you can finger flick this open too. But when you get past that initial detent ball, which, like any other knife, then it should just drop. But it's not, especially with a huge heavy blade like this, but it's hitting the back of that hole. Then you can just shake it past that because they built a ramp. Now, you can kick it down. The blade's heavy enough to kind of make up for that. But no, it is going to hang up there, okay? Legitimately, it's going to hang up there. There it is. And you can feel it hit. You can shake it down from that because it's heavy enough and they built that ramp. But so that's a difference. The plain scaled one, you're not going to have that. You don't have that hole there. So it's just going to drift. Once it's overcome the detent ball, then it's just going to drop. So there's going to be a difference in the action. This is like a double detent. And it almost sounds like that when you open it as well. The next thing is you've got this. Now, this seems to be able to kind of loosen up real easy. If I was going to carry this knife much, I would put this separately in my pocket. Okay? I would not keep it in this knife. Or if I was going to do that, I might take a small drill and drill a hole across the head, through the head, put a little piece of fishing line or something, and then run it around this pocket clip to where if this ever fell out, it would hang from my pocket clip. And they do make knives like the Extrema Ratio where they do have a cord that holds this in place, okay? And through a lanyard or something, and then you can put it up here and it stretches because it's an elastic piece of cord. And you can run it through there and you can unscrew it and it'll just hang. It won't get lost because it's on that cord. This one could come undone. This also, if you loosen this enough, you could get a little feeling of like, it's not that way now. But you got to watch this. If this loosens enough, this could have a little bit of a rattle to it. And that's why I don't like Rotolocks all that well either. But both of these, if this came a little loose, you'd hear that rattle a little bit too. So yeah, those are two things. The plain handle one, really it'd be nice if they would have done both the same as the plain handled one. Don't put a hole through here. Don't give me a double detent. And I don't need this extra piece here. Actually, it'd have been nice if you'd have just given me a lanyard hole through here. That'd have been fine. You could have gone all the way through. They didn't do it at all on this one. So that would have been nice. And I never did give you this official weight, but here I will now. Screw this back in. 9.57 at 271 grams. It's not 250 grams, okay? So it's a pretty heavy beast. It's not a flipper, if you took a while to figure that out. Hollow grind, flat grind, thumb ramp jimped, choil in the front for sharpening. Can you go forward? A little bit. If you wanted to dare it. Very, very sharp. Very sharp out of the box, okay? Very sharp. So it's nice. Let me just give you kind of my overview. I like the design of this. That's why I got it. I like the design. I think it's a beast. I think it's good looking. There's a lot of stuff that Max Ace does and Midnight Cat Studios does that I like. And let's just keep rolling the footage here. So yeah, the ergos in hand are good, okay? Reverse grip is good as well. Big, beefy, cool. It's got all kinds of cool factor to it. If you wanted to flame that thing, wouldn't that be awesome? So, and then you could take this piece if you wanted, maybe this and have them anodized, or I don't know. I guess since the other one has blue, blue, and blue, that means these three are probably titanium. I don't know about that. But regardless, yeah, it's cool, and it's an integral. So the box itself is really, really cool. I mean, it's all kinds of machismo going on here. It's crazy cool. So it's big, it's badass, and whoop. So yeah, I mean, you can finger flick it like that. I give it a little bit more gravity feed. Yeah, didn't quite make it on that one. So it's not a casual flick because that's a heavy blade, but you can do it. Not a problem. And when you open it with a thumb stud, it tends to want to just kick all the way. You can walk it, but the detent is pretty good. The hold there is pretty good. So once it kicks free, you know what? It runs away from your thumb. So, you know, it's a little hard to stay in contact with that. There you go. Now you can walk it around. It's not as easy to walk it around as it is to just thumb flick it. It's easier to do that, like that, okay? And if you come up behind it with your finger on the backside, you can do that real easy too. Almost easier than using the fuller. But you can use the fuller as well. So, you know, several different ways to kick it out, walk it around, thumb flick, finger flick from the backside or from the fuller. So you've got multiple opening options. But yeah, the detent's actually relatively good on this. I cannot shake it out this way, okay? Can I shake it out this way? Yes. Okay, so it's a 5 on my detent scale. So it's not, you would think a blade this heavy would push it into the 3.5 to 4 range on the detent scale, but this is pretty stout. So now the good thing about this is the sculpting and the fact that you don't have the anode parts, because then it looks a little bit more badass and less glitzy and kind of more industrial. But that's a nice satin grind on that, and that's a good symmetrical plunge on that blade. So yeah, it ought to cut. I mean, pierce and slice, absolutely. But yeah, you can feel this. Okay, so you're going over, now you're past it, but now you're going to stop here and work past that. So it's not, the fidget factor is not as there. Let me see, I kicked past the second one because that ramp, it will do that. See? So it's not a huge deal, but it is weird, and it could be annoying to some people. So that's maybe a good reason to get the non-sculpted scale model. I don't know why they did this on the sculpted. Why? Why do you have to modify one different than the other? I don't think it was a good idea. This is kind of cool, and you can undo this, so you got a little thing in here and you could swap it around, but it's another piece to maybe get lost. Thank God they give you an extra one in the hardware bag, but I just like the sculpting. I don't need that, and I don't need that. Let's walk it around again. Okay? Sometimes I don't give everybody the kind of shot they're looking for of the scales and all the parts. So let's just walk it around. You can see the inside of the knife. Okay. Very cool. It's not a numbered edition. It says M390 on the bottom of that tab. Fit and finish are good, and it's centered. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And the ergos are great. So if you can take that little second detent, and the others are just a minor annoyance, which this is not necessary. This is really not necessary, but okay, that gives you some stability there as well. So they could leave that on and take the hole out, and they got everything they should need on this knife. Alrighty, Aru. I'll leave you to it. Made by Max Ace. Midnight Cat Studios, they've got all kinds of crazy models out there. And of course, this one being another one, it kind of comes in a little zipper thing that looks carbon fiber-ish. But, I mean, this is the Amber 2. This is another Integral with like a Zermascus surround on the pivot and the pocket clip here. So this was interesting as well. I did a review on that. I'll let you go. Thank you so much, my friends. We love them knives. Big knives. So you guys, stay sharp.